So Alibaba just released their new reasoning model, part of their Qwen series, QwQ-32B. This model is making waves right now in the AI space due to its small size of only 32 billion parameters, along with its incredibly high level performance. It's literally outperforming DeepSeek-R1, a model nearly 20 times its size. So how exactly did they do it? Well, according to them, it was as simple as scaling up reinforcement learning, with of course a few tweaks here and there. They state, "Our research explores the scalability of reinforcement learning, RL, and its impact on enhancing the intelligence of large language models. We are excited to introduce QwQ-32B, a model with 32 billion parameters that achieves performance comparable to DeepSeek-R1, which boasts 671 billion parameters. This remarkable outcome underscores the effectiveness of RL when applied to robust foundation models pre-trained on extensive world knowledge. Furthermore, we have integrated agent-related capabilities into the reasoning model, enabling it to think critically while utilizing tools and adapting its reasoning based on environmental feedback. As you can see from the benchmarks, QwQ-32B is truly state-of-the-art. On the AMY 2024, a challenging math benchmark, it's basically on par with DeepSeek-R1 and significantly outperforms OpenAI's O1 Mini. On LiveCodeBench and LiveBench, more reasoning-heavy benchmarks, it's also relatively on par with DeepSeek-R1 and again significantly outperforming O1 Mini. On the if-eval, a benchmark testing models on their ability to follow instructions, it falls short to O1 Mini but outperforms DeepSeek-R1 slightly. And lastly, on the BFCL, a benchmark measuring function calling accuracy, QwQ-32B outperforms every other model. Keep in mind, this is a 32 billion parameter model, making it orders of magnitude smaller than giants like DeepSeek-R1 and OpenAI's O1 Mini. Achieving comparable performance at this insanely reduced scale doesn't just mean drastically lower operational costs. It highlights how rapidly the cost of intelligence is plummeting. I mean, China's DeepSeek AI shocked the entire tech world when they released DeepSeek-R1 on January 20th of this year. For the first time ever, we had an open source reasoning model performing at the level of OpenAI's O1. And it was supposedly developed with a lot less compute and money, which ended up causing a minor market crash in the American tech sector. Now, less than 2 months later, another Chinese company, Alibaba, releases an open source reasoning model performing at the same level of DeepSeek-R1, but 20 times smaller. Essentially, what DeepSeek did to OpenAI with R1 is exactly what Alibaba is now doing to DeepSeek, but taken to an even more extreme level. Alibaba's QwQ-32B isn't just another incremental improvement. It's a leap that completely redefines what's possible in AI efficiency, cost, and accessibility. Now, going back to the benchmarks, you might be wondering why they didn't put O3 Mini on this list. It's possible that they just didn't have its scores for each of these benchmarks, given how recently it was released, but it could also be due to the fact that it would have likely outperformed all these models. While this model can still be considered a state-of-the-art reasoning model, it's important to note that there's bigger and better models out there that haven't even been released yet. I mean, O3 Mini is literally a miniature version of the full O3 that has only been announced so far. So the main takeaway, once again, is that Alibaba's QwQ-32B represents the exponentially decreasing cost and accessibility of intelligence. Think of it like this: if you can now get state-of-the-art performance with a 32 billion parameter model, imagine what you could achieve if you scaled this up to hundreds of billions or even a trillion parameters. This is what Alibaba plans to do. They state, "This marks Qwen's initial step in scaling reinforcement learning to enhance reasoning capabilities. Through this journey, we have not only witnessed the immense potential of scaled RL, but also recognized the untapped possibilities within pre-trained language models. As we work towards developing the next generation of Qwen, we are confident that combining stronger foundation models with RL, powered by scaled computational resources, will propel us closer to achieving artificial general intelligence, AGI. Additionally, we are actively exploring the integration of agents with RL to enable long-horizon reasoning, aiming to unlock greater intelligence with inference time scaling." They're also already working on a larger version of QwQ-32B called QwQ-Max, which is still in preview. I think it's safe to assume that this model will be much better, and it will also be open source under the Apache 2.0 license, meaning anyone could download it and modify it freely. So China is definitely catching up to America in the AI race. And since all of their models have been open source, while most of America's models have been closed source, you could also say that open source AI is catching up to closed source AI. Will this trend continue? That depends on the next major releases. In China, DeepSeek-R2's launch has reportedly been pushed forward. It was originally set for early May, but is now expected as soon as possible. Alibaba, meanwhile, has QwQ-Max in preview, with a release expected in the coming months. Then, in the US, OpenAI is preparing to launch the full versions of O3, O3 Pro, and GPT-5 soon. And Anthropic, who just recently released Claude 3.7 Sonnet, the first hybrid reasoning model on the market, is likely already working on Claude 4 Sonnet. So these next few months will definitely be interesting. I wonder if this will be the year open source AI finally surpasses closed source AI, or if closed source models will maintain their lead. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Now, there were these two short clips of Geoffrey Hinton, also known as the godfather of AI, that I think directly relate to what we've discussed in this video. He talks about how we're making human intelligence irrelevant and what that could mean for the world. Check this out.
Many people say, it'll create more jobs. For this particular thing, I'm not convinced of that. What we're doing in the Industrial Revolution, we made human strength irrelevant. Now we're making human intelligence irrelevant. And that's very scary. So there's some areas where demand is very elastic. An example would be healthcare. If I could get 10 hours a week talking to my doctor, I'm over 70, I'd be very happy. So if you take someone and make them much more efficient by having them work with a very intelligent AI, they're not going to become unemployed. It's not that you're now only going to need a few of them. You're just going to get much more healthcare. Great.
So I think he brings up a really valid point here. He recognizes that just as we replaced human strength during the Industrial Revolution with steam engines and heavy machinery, we are now replacing human intelligence in the AI revolution with advanced AI models. The only jobs that will survive are elastic jobs, those that can scale up or down dynamically depending on the demand. For example, the demand for healthcare, especially specialized healthcare, far exceeds the supply. There simply aren't enough doctors for every person on Earth to receive personal care. But if AI can increase a doctor's productivity by a factor of 10, then ideally, they could serve 10 times the number of patients. The issue is, this only works for certain jobs. Most companies are already operating near the equilibrium of supply and demand, constantly optimizing for efficiency. In these cases, AI doesn't just enhance productivity, it actively replaces human labor, making certain roles obsolete rather than expanding their impact. I mean, think about it from an entrepreneur's perspective. If all of your employees are now 10 times more productive, but the amount of work you need done has only increased by say 2x or even not at all, you really just don't need as many people. On top of that, the AI you'll be replacing humans with will likely be even more productive than the humans are when working with AI. And of course, much cheaper. It's really a no-brainer, but as you'll see in this next clip, our current system is simply not ready for this.
It will be a wonderful thing for productivity, that's true. Whether it be a wonderful thing for society is something else altogether. In a decent society, if you increase productivity a lot, everybody's better off. But here what's going to happen, if you increase productivity a lot, the rich and the big companies are going to get much richer, and ordinary people are probably going to be worse off because they'll lose their jobs.
So something is going to have to give. Either we rethink how we structure work and employment, or we face a future where large portions of the workforce become obsolete with no clear path forward. This isn't just about efficiency, it's about the fundamental shift in how value is created and distributed in society. Personally, I don't have the answers. I have no idea how this is all going to play out, but I'm definitely going to be paying close attention. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this though. Are you excited and hopeful for the future, or are you worried about what's coming? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear different perspectives on this. Anyways, that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, if you want to stay up to date on future AI news just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button.